So, whether you're hoping to get pregnant or you just want to understand your body on a deeper level, there's one key event in your monthly cycle that honestly changes everything. Today, we're going to demystify ovulation and show you exactly how to pinpoint it. This is really powerful stuff, so let's just jump right in.
Okay, let me start by asking you a question. When you think about the entire menstrual cycle, all its ups and downs, all the different phases, what do you think is the single most important event? Seriously, think about it. The answer is the key to everything we're about to cover.
All right, first up, let's cover the basics of ovulation. Because before we can even think about tracking it, we first need to get a really solid handle on what it is and why it's so central to your entire cycle.
And the answer to that question? It's ovulation. This is it. This is the main event of the whole cycle. It's that one moment when an egg is released from the ovary. Without this happening, pregnancy just isn't possible, which makes it the one event that everything else, literally everything, revolves around.
So if we look at a typical 28-day cycle, it all kicks off with your period on day 1. Ovulation usually happens right around the middle, say day 14. But here's a really crucial tip. Instead of counting forward from the start of your cycle, it's often way more accurate to count backwards from when you expect your next period. Ovulation typically happens about 12 to 16 days before your next period starts, and that's true no matter how long your cycle is.
So if ovulation is our target, how do we actually find it? Well, this next section is all about the different methods you can use. Think of this as your personal tracking toolkit.
There are basically 3 main ways to go about this. First, you've got the calendar method. This is great if your cycles are super regular, but it can be a bit unreliable if things tend to fluctuate. Then there's basal body temperature, where you take your temp every day to confirm that ovulation has already happened. And finally, there are ovulation tests. These are super precise because they measure a key hormone surge that happens 24 to 36 hours before ovulation, but yeah, the cost can definitely add up over time.
Let's zoom in on that temperature method for a second. The idea behind it is actually pretty simple and kind of fascinating. See, your body's resting temperature, that's your basal temperature, is naturally a little lower during the first half of your cycle. Then right after ovulation, a hormone called progesterone kicks in and causes a slight but sustained rise in your temperature. We're talking just a few tenths of a degree, but it's a really clear biological signal that the main event is over.
But you know, tracking isn't all about calendars and thermometers and test strips. Your body sends out its own signals too. So now let's talk about how you can start listening to your body and recognizing those natural signs of ovulation. Your body actually communicates in these subtle but really distinct ways when ovulation is getting close. You just have to know what to look for. So pay attention to things like changes in cervical mucus, maybe a slight little twinge in your lower abdomen, a noticeable uptick in your libido, or even heightened sensitivity. These are all little clues your body's giving you. Now, of all the physical signs, this one is probably the most distinct. The texture of your cervical mucus changes right around ovulation. It becomes clear, very stretchy, and, well, it has a consistency that's often compared to raw egg whites. And this isn't just random. It's your body creating the perfect environment to help sperm make their way to the egg. And that little abdominal sensation we mentioned, it actually has a name, Mittelschmerz. It's a German word that means middle pain, and it perfectly describes that slight pull or twinge that some people feel right as the egg is being released. If you're someone who experiences it, that's one of the most direct signals you can possibly get.
Okay, here's a really crucial point. Please do not worry if you don't notice all of these signs, or even any of them. Every single body is different. For some people, the signs are super subtle. For others, they might not happen at all, and that is completely 100% normal.
Okay, so we've got the tracking tools and we have the body's natural clues. The final step is all about putting these two things together to find your own unique pattern. Really, the most powerful way to go about this is a simple 3-step process. So step 1 is to track. Pick a method that works for you: calendar, temp, or test. Step 2 is to observe. Start paying close attention to your body's physical signs. And step 3, the most important part, combine. You use the data from your tracking and your personal observations together to really zero in on your pattern.
And honestly, this is the biggest takeaway of all. An ovulation test can tell you that hormones are surging. Your body gives you physical hints that those hormones are at work. And then the temperature shift confirms the event actually happened. See, when you combine them, you move from just guessing to truly understanding the full sequence of events. Layering these approaches is what gives you the clearest and most reliable picture of your personal cycle.
So let's end right where we began, by listening. You now have the toolkit to decode the signals your body is sending you every single month. The only question left is, what is your body telling you? Thanks for joining this explainer.